This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Filipino MMA sensation Pañales gears up for a historic PFL debut in Dubai. Gilas Women ready to shine in the Manila Hustle 3x3 showdown. Sotto's season cut short by ACL injury. Aguri Iwasaki returns to Southwoods for the revived Philippine Open. In the NBA, the Cavs snapped the Thunder's 15-game winning streak in a thrilling clash. And joining us in the studio tonight, PBA memorabilia expert Dr. Michael Rico Mesina. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 9th of January. Now, here's our roundup. History is in the making, and Filipino mixed martial arts sensation Ruel Pañales is at the heart of it. The 28-year-old fighter is set to blaze a trail as the first Filipino to step into the famed Professional Fighters League Smart Cage at the Road to Dubai Champions Series. Pañales isn't just throwing punches and kicks. He's bringing a fighting spirit that screams laban. Pañales will go up against UAE's Hadi Omar Al Husseini, who sports a 5-1-1 record, and he is confident that he can showcase the best of being a Filipino MMA fighter. With a promising 5-2 record and a 4-fight win streak, all by stoppage, the Cavite native has truly earned his shot at the big leagues. Pañales admits that it is going to be a challenge facing off with Al Husseini, who will have the home crowd advantage, but he is ready to fight for flag and country. So mark your calendars, because on January 25 at the iconic Coca-Cola Arena, the Filipino Storm hits Dubai, ready to make history in the PFL Smart Cage. The Gilas Pilipinas women are all set to bring their A-game as they headline the action-packed Manila Hustle 3x3 on February 8 to 9 at the SM Mall of Asia Music Hall. Led by the dynamic duo of Camille Clarin and Jazz Hoson, the Gilas squad joins a star-studded lineup featuring both local and international teams, promising fans a thrilling third season of this much-anticipated basketball extravaganza. Adding to the excitement, some of the Gilas veterans will don new colors this season. Afril Bernardino and Kay Pingol will take charge of Eurotech's Dream. Trina Guitinco and Stephanie Berberabe suit up for the Titans, while Janine Pontejos leads the charge for Army Altama. The homegrown talent doesn't stop there. Eurotech's Tibay, Gilas Under-23, and New Zealand Blue Fire bring their own firepower as they face off against at least 8 international squads, rounding out the 16-team roster. Now, among the foreign challengers is Zeus Tokyo, led by 3x3 global sensation Ama Degbion, who is returning to defend their title in what promises to be a fierce competition. The stakes are high. A $4,000 grand prize and a coveted ticket to the WKBL 3x3 in South Korea await the champion, while the runner-up pockets $2,500 and third place takes home $1,000. The Manila Hustle 3x3 is all set to deliver fast-paced action, stunning plays, and plenty of edge-of-your-seat moments. This is one court battle you don't want to miss. Now, in a gut-wrenching turn of events, Sotto's 2025 basketball season has come to a premature end after the 7'3" phenom suffered a torn ACL on his left knee. The injury occurred in a post-up play against Mikawa Seahorses forward Zach Aguste at the 6:20 mark of the first quarter during last Sunday's tight 77-79 loss. The setback compounded the Alphas' woes, marking their second straight defeat in a struggling 8-20 season. Sotto, who had been a consistent bright spot for the Alphas, was averaging 14.3 points, 8.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists in 28.1 minutes per game. His absence will not only impact the Alphas but also ripple through Gilas Pilipinas' 2025 campaign, leaving a significant void in the roster. The 22-year-old big man was set to headline the B-League Asia Rising Stars game on January 18 and play a pivotal role for Gilas Pilipinas in the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia this August. Now with Sotto sidelined, Gilas' February Asia Cup qualifiers against Chinese Taipei and New Zealand now look even more challenging. Gilas head coach Tim Cohn has already tapped Japeth Aguilar to step up, but the absence of Sotto's towering presence for the national team will be keenly felt. In a heartfelt Instagram post, Sotto reflected on the injury, saying that God may have other plans, so he just needs to keep going. Meanwhile, in golf, the Philippine Open is back and it's bringing some serious star power. This year's revival at Manila Southwoods, running from January 23 to 26, will feature none other than Japan Golf Tour standout Aguri Iwasaki. A name to watch, Iwasaki is returning to familiar turf where his journey to becoming a two-time Japan Tour winner and the 2023 Japan Open champion began nearly a decade ago. Iwasaki accepted a direct invite from the host club he once represented. Now, as an amateur, Iwasaki helped Southwoods clinch the interclub titles, making this a bit of a homecoming. Former pro champ Jerome Delirarte said Iwasaki is definitely one of the headliners to watch. But it's not just about Iwasaki. The Philippine Open is pulling out all the stops with top Asian Tour stars, former champions Miguel Tabuena and Angelo Ke, and a tough Masters layout prepped to test even the best. With extended fairways and thickened rough, Southwoods' Masters course is ready to play host to Asia's oldest national golf championship. And for the local hopefuls, there are more slots, 3 actually, which are up for grabs this Sunday in an 18-hole qualifying showdown among club members and accredited pros. So get ready, golf fans. With a lineup this stacked, the Philippine Open is set to make its grand return in style. Will Iwasaki's home course advantage and sharp game bring him another title? Stay tuned. It's going to be a thrilling showdown on the green. Now, in a thrilling showdown between the NBA's top 2 teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers snapped Oklahoma City's 15-game win streak with a 129-122 victory. Jarrett Allen was the star for the Cavs, pouring in 25 points, while Evan Mobley added a strong 21 to lead Cleveland to its 11th consecutive win. With the victory, the Cavs now boast the best record in the league at 32-4, extending their perfect record against the Western Conference to 11-0 and maintaining a dominant 19-1 mark at home. Now, it wasn't the best night for the Cavs' leading scorer Donovan Mitchell, who struggled with just 11 points on 3 of 16 shooting. But Cleveland proved its depth and balance. The Thunder, on the other hand, were led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who finished with 31 points, and Jalen Williams, who added 25. Despite the loss, Oklahoma City showed its resilience in a game that featured 30 lead changes and was tight throughout, with neither team holding a lead larger than 9 points. The Cavs displayed their ability to win even when Mitchell isn't at his best, with Mobley and Allen contributing a combined 22 rebounds and 13 assists. Darius Garland also stepped up with 18 points and 7 assists, hitting a clutch floater late in the game to seal the win. Now in other NBA action, the Toronto Raptors kicked off their 3-game road trip with a 112-98 loss to the New York Knicks. Despite the setback, Raptors fans got a glimpse of former teammates OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa in their new roles with New York. Karl Anthony Towns led the Knicks with 27 points and 13 rebounds, while OG Anunoby added 21 points. Josh Hart also contributed with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now for the Raptors, Scotty Barnes posted 18 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, while Emmanuel quickly added 22 points. Despite solid performances, Toronto could not secure the win. With their starting lineup back, the Raptors showed promise, especially in the first half, leading early and staying competitive. RJ Barrett's hot start helped, and their defense showed flashes of strength with turnovers and shot clock violations. However, the Knicks took control in the third, using a 9-0 run to build a double-digit lead. the Raptors couldn't recover, sending the bench in to close the game. Now, in a fun twist, Chris Boucher scored 10 straight points during garbage time. And here are the other results from the NBA. And now for your daily dose of sports lingo. Now here's a fun fact for all MMA fans. Ground and pound refers to a fierce strategy where a fighter takes their opponent to the mat and unleashes a barrage of powerful strikes from above while maintaining control. It's a brutal mix of grappling and striking that often leads to a dominant finish. One fighter who mastered this technique, none other than MMA legend Randy the Natural Couture. Couture's ground game was a force to be reckoned with, using ground and pound to topple opponents and clinch championship titles. So the next time a fighter gets their opponent on the canvas, keep an eye out. It could be a ground and pound finish in the making. Got a favorite MMA technique? Drop us your thoughts at our FB page. It's time now for our off-court buzzer. The PVL is abuzz as the Farm Fresh Foxies are gearing up for a major comeback this month with the return of Rachel Ann Dakis and Julina De La Cruz, who were both cleared to play after long recoveries. The two stars will finally take the court after more than a year away, joining a revamped team that's ready to make waves in the PVL. Dakis, back from an 18-month break to focus on coaching, and her culinary project, Foreign de Manila, is rejoining the league. De La Cruz, who suffered an ACL injury during the 2023 PVL All-Filipino Conference, is also set to make her return. The two veterans will bring new energy and leadership to the Foxies alongside former Adamson middle blocker Lorene Toring, who's also recovering from an ACL injury. Meanwhile, Cignal Ces Molina and Riri Meneses have reportedly opted to not renew their contracts. The pair, who helped secure a bronze medal with Cignal, have exited the team. As Farm Fresh looks to make a statement this season, Molina and Meneses' next moves remain highly anticipated. Both stories are setting the stage for an exciting new chapter in the PVL. Kawhi Leonard has temporarily stepped away from the Clippers to help family members affected by the Southern California wildfires. The star forward is focused on supporting loved ones who had to evacuate the hard-hit Pacific Palisades area. Leonard will miss Wednesday's game against the Denver Nuggets with no set return date. His absence comes after recently returning from knee rehab and easing back into a limited role with the Clippers. NBA figures including Lakers head coach J.J. Redick and Warriors head coach Steve Kerr have shared their thoughts on the devastating situation. While the NBA hasn't postponed games yet, the NHL has, and the NFL is monitoring the situation ahead of the Rams-Vikings playoff game. The Clippers, currently 20-16 and 7 in the West, will continue their season without Leonard for now as he prioritizes family during this challenging time. And that is our roundup for tonight, the 9th of January. When we return, let's look into what treasure this memorabilia collector keeps in his Basketvault. So watch out for that when we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. He is a doctor but also a keen collector of basketball memorabilia that dates back to the 1910s. Yes, believe it or not, he possesses not just precious sports treasures but also a bank of priceless basketball history. Please welcome to the BNC studio, Dr. Michael Rico Mesina. Doc Mico,
hi.
Good evening to you at maraming salamat at napunta ka dito sa wakas sa The Scorecard. Welcome.
Yes, good evening, Sir Anton, and thank you for having me here at The Scorecard. Finally.
Ayan. Doc, matagal na tayo nag-uusap, trying to set this up. Finally, natuloy na tayo. You have your basketball treasures here. Pero bago natin puntahan yung mga yan, I just wanna the viewers to get to know you a little bit. You're a doctor. Ano po ba ang specialty nila?
Okay, so my specialty is that of a radiologist.
Okay.
So basically, what we do is we interpret the medical images of patients, and also may make sure that the patients are safe while doing those procedures.
Okay, and you were telling me prior to going live, you're a Thomasian from UST.
Yes, for my pre-med, I had it at the University of Santo Tomas.
Yun.
And for my medical school, I had it in Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila at PLM.
Okay, so from doctor, this is sort of like a sideline for you, pero ginawa mo na rin parang buhay. It's part of your daily life. You actually have various segments with a different network. Doc Miko, tell us about paano nagsimula yung pag-collect mo nitong mga basketball memorabilia.
So actually, the collecting started when I was a kid.
Okay.
So my titos brought me to Reyes Gym. So that's where the PBA teams practiced before, most of the PBA teams. And then my titos, they were introducing me to the different legends at that time. So Alvin Patrimonio, Jericho Diniera, Lastimosa,
Okay.
Abarientos. So from there, my interest on basketball and the PBA started.
I'm just happy na naalala ko pa yung mga pangalan na binanggit mo kasi as you have mentioned and shared with me, karamihan sa mga memorabilia dito from the 1910s pa.
Yes.
Okay, what else, Doc? How did this passion continue to burn and tinuloy mo talaga yung pangongolekta nito mga memorabilia na to?
So when I was a kid, I started collecting magazines, actually, sports magazines.
Okay.
Because I wanted to know more about my basketball idols. But during the pandemic, so I had some free time so that I can pursue my passion projects. And from there, nag-evolve na yung pangongolekta ko, naging memorabilia na, not just magazines. And then from there, from the 90s, kasi batang 90s tayo.
Yes.
So from there, time travel na ako pabalik. So from the 80s down to the 70s and back to the origin of basketball here in the Philippines.
Okay, so take me back, way back to the 1910s. Nag-uusap tayo, I asked you, Doc Miko, ano ba yung pinakalumang basketball memorabilia? And we have here an actual basketball from the 1910s.
Yes.
How did you preserve that? Kasi sapatos nga lang, pandemic shoes, nasisira. Pero yan, how did you preserve that ball from the 1910s? That's a century old, over a century old.
So I got this from a antique collector.
Okay.
So based on the story of the antique collector, this ball was found in a local school in the province.
Wow.
So ginigiba na yung eskwela nun, tapos sa PE department, doon nakita yung bola.
Wow.
So kaya ang nangyari, na-preserve yung bola kasi nakatago lang siya in the department for such a long time.
And it survived so many eras. Wow, okay, I'm a little bit, medyo mabigat siya, ha?
Yes.
Mabigat.
And then if you notice, the struts or yung tahi nasa
parang
labas.
football, ah.
Yes.
Ganito yung tahi sa football, eh. But this is what they used to shoot before.
Yes, so
Wow.
that's reflective of the type of game they played before. Kasi it's more on passing, it's more relying on passing to move the ball from one place to another instead of dribbling.
I feel like this is kind of like a cheat code, ito mga nakastitch dito. Kasi kung shooter ka, syempre lalagay mo yung mga daliri dito para nakasukat.
Yes.
Okay, napansin ko, Doc, itong mga jerseys na to, parang sando lang.
Yes.
Ano ba itong mga jerseys na to?
Okay, so let's start with the one at the middle.
Yeah.
So if we take a look at it, yan, Sir Anton.
Ayan.
You can see
so
that
it's not totally sando kasi may konting parang stretchable material.
Yes. So if you can see there's the number and then the insignia of the Republic of the Philippines on top. So that's actually a game-worn jersey during the 1960 Rome Olympics.
Rome Olympics, sinong player to?
Edgardo Roque po.
Edgardo Roque, number 15. So isipin nyo, kung naglalaro po si June Mar Fajardo noong 1960s, ito po yung magiging jersey niya. Number 15. Batak siguro tignan ni The Kraken dito. Okay, this one, I'm interested in this one, Doc.
Yan, so actually this picture is a very historic one. So it's a picture of the national basketball team.
1954. Grabe.
So it's one of the most important years in Philippine basketball because at that year, we won the Asian Games and then we proceeded to the World Basketball Championships
Okay.
where we placed third.
Wow.
And then if you see the player numbered 14,
Okay.
so that's actually the big difference, Sir Kaloy Loizaga.
Kaloy Loizaga. Yeah, I see his memorabilia when I go to San Beda. The big difference, number 14. Grabe.
And then if you look at the picture, there's a signature at the bottom and at the jersey area of Sir Kaloy.
That's him.
Yeah, so that's an autograph picture of Sir Kaloy Loizaga and the rest of the winning team back then.
I want to ask you, Doc Miko, since you're very familiar with the history, what happened to Philippine basketball? Bakit nung araw umaabot tayo sa Worlds and then now, we're having a hard time despite having all the resources and all the talents? In your opinion, what happened?
Well, I think one factor is the lack of preparation.
Okay.
So since we have many professional leagues, for example, the PBA, of course, we have to respect the schedule of the PBA and also the other leagues. So if we are going to form a national team and we want to prepare them for a long period of time, medyo mahihirapan kasi they need to fulfill their responsibilities to their respective mother teams.
So it's like a commitment issue. They're divided, so they have to figure out the priorities. Ganon.
Yes, lalo na ngayon,
issue.
Sir Anton, yung ibang mga players natin, many of them play abroad na.
Correct.
In the B-League and then the other leagues around Asia.
Ang galing, may picture ka pa sa PBA Rush. Asi Taolava, and then earlier, nakita natin the Bill Velasco over here, Willie Miller, Papa Bear earlier. Okay, since napag-usapan na natin yung PBA, before we end our interview, kasi sa lahat ng mga PBA fans dito, this coming April, it's gonna be the anniversary, right, of the PBA's 40 or 50 greatest ba?
This April will be the 50th anniversary,
of the PBA.
Yes.
Okay. Kaya magkakaroon sila ng PBA's 50 greatest because right now, it's PBA's 40 greatest. So they're going to add 10 players to that list para maging 50 greatest. So right now here on the show, before we end, we're going to talk about this list right here. 5 players na feeling natin dapat makasama sa PBA's 50 greatest. And this is a very controversial topic, lalo na nung PBA's 40 greatest, may mga players na hindi nakasama.
Yes.
So we will discuss Doc Miko's 5 players. This is actually Doc Miko's list. I-intro ko lang po because Doc Miko is more knowledgeable about the history of the PBA. So simulan natin dito. Number 5, ang tira nito, old school talaga, ang hirap i-block. One of the greatest power forwards in the history of the PBA. Give it to me right here. It is the Hawk, Bong Hawkins. Yan.
Okay, so the Hawk, he's a second pick overall by Presto. Pero syempre nakilala siya sa Alaska as part of the Grand Slam winning team. So may interview nun kay Tim Cone. So he said that Jolas was the captain.
Yes.
Johnny was the best player in that team. But he also said that the Hawk is the most important player in his system.
Grabe, a classic
Alaska.
pivot man. Napanood ko pa to. Yung number 4, hindi ko na napanood. I actually play basketball with his son, Manny Victorino, at number 4. Ano ba yung laro ni Manny Victorino? I hear he was a legendary big man, Doc.
Yes, actually he was once hailed as like the next coming of a Ramon Fernandez.
So mala skyhook din yung tira niya.
Yes, and also during the mid to late 80s, the PBA had a rule wherein 4 players cannot play for the same team.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Manny
He was
Victorino was one of them.
Okay,
Yes.
para magkaroon ng balanced teams, parity in the PBA. Okay. Number 3. Now, this is a guy na napanood ko pa. Kasi paborito kong player, si Vergel Meneses.
Yes.
So, I know this guy, Yoyoy Villamin. He does all the dirty work on the boards.
So actually, Yoyoy Villamin has it all, longevity. He played for 19 years in the PBA.
19 years, grabe.
Won
Ibay.
several championships for different teams, but he was also part of the second Grand Slam of Crispa. And also, he was a multiple-time mythical team member and was also part of the rule wherein the 4 players cannot be together in the same
okay,
team.
so yun. I don't, wow, hindi pa sila kasama sa 40 despite having them part of the rule.
Yes, so the other 2 pala for our audience is Ramon Fernandez and Abet Gidaben.
Abet Gidaben.
So they're the big 4 back then who cannot be playing for the same team together.
Okay. Number 2, eto, this was a very controversial issue, the entry of the Phil-Ams. And then people were saying some were Phil-Shams, but Danny Siegel, grabe, yung tira nitong si Danny Siegel, kakaiba He shoots it from the right side, but Grabe, very explosive player itong si Danny S.
So kung yung mga fans natin, di ba, pag tumitira, Kobe. So back then, for the PBA fans in the late 90s and the 2000s, Danny Cignal, so ganun yung ano nila, yes.
Yeah.
And also is one of the best ever players never to win an MVP.
Wow.
Is a 10-time PBA All-Star and also is a 4-time PBA Finals MVP.
Napapanood ko pa si Danny S. Silang dalawa ni Danny I sa San Miguel winning championships left and right. All right. This one right here, number 1. Dapat makapasok na to. It will be an outrage kung hindi siya makasama sa PBA Top 50. I used to watch this guy, one of the most devastating power forwards in the history of the PBA. Give it to me right here at number 1. Bam! The Bull, Nelson Asay Tono. Doc Mico, take it away.
Nako, siguro, Sir Anton, magwawala ang internet pag hindi pa nakasama si Sir Nelson ngayong time na to sa PBA na 50 greatest. So, what can I say about Sir Nelson? He's actually the 5th best scorer in PBA history, number 5.
Tapos hindi pa nakasama sa top 40. Ano ba yan?
And he has it all. Championships, mythical team selections, MVP lang ang nagkulang kay Sir Nelson.
Yeah,
but undoubtedly, he should be part now of the 50 greatest
I
players.
feel like back in the day, sa kaposisyon niya si the captain Alvin Patrimonio. So both of them were always battling it out for those MVPs.
Yes, but during that time, na-edge out siya ng konti ni Kapitan Alvin Patrimonio.
Yeah. So eto yung mga players na feeling namin top 5 should be in the PBA's 50 greatest when the PBA announces the list. Very, very soon, di ba? Before the 50th anniversary on April 9.
Yes.
Alright, Doc Mico, maraming salamat sa oras.
So much,
Thank you
Anton,
for the time and sharing with us a little bit of history pagdating sa PBA.
Thank you.
When the scorecard returns, we will look into the upcoming NBA matchup so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. We'll break down the upcoming matchups to deliver key insights that might just give you the edge you need to stay ahead of the game. Tomorrow, January 10 at 8 a.m. Philippine time, live at Kia Center in Orlando, Florida, the Minnesota Timberwolves will face off against the Orlando Magic. The Minnesota Timberwolves entered this game with a record of 19-17, currently 8th in the Western Conference. They're coming off a solid 104-97 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans, with Anthony Edwards dropping 32 points, including 7 3-pointers, and Rudy Gobert dominating the paint with 14 rebounds and 6 blocks. Former Pelican Julius Randle added 16 points while Naz Reid contributed a double-double with 13 points and 12 rebounds as Minnesota took control with a 19-2 run in the third quarter. Now, on the other hand, the Orlando Magic hold a 22-16 record, currently sitting 4th in the Eastern Conference. They're looking to build on their 103-94 victory over the New York Knicks, where Cole Anthony led the way with 24 points and Wendell Carter Jr. provided a season-high 19 off the bench. Orlando's defensive intensity was the key, limiting the Knicks to just 4 of 22 from beyond the arc and outscoring them 50-18 in bench points despite missing several top scorers due to injuries. This matchup features two teams with distinct strengths. Minnesota's third-ranked defense allowing just 107.7 points per game versus Orlando's strong home record of 13-5. The Magic come in as slight favorites with a minus 35-point spread. However, with Anthony Edwards on fire and Minnesota riding a wave of confidence, this game could go either way. The over-under is set at 215, hinting at a low-scoring defensive battle between two teams fighting to maintain their playoff spots. Can the Magic protect their home court despite a banged-up roster? Or will Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves find a way to grind out another crucial road win? We'll see. Make sure to not miss the action tomorrow. And at 10 a.m. Philippine time, live at Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, the Atlanta Hawks will take on the Phoenix Suns in a highly anticipated non-conference matchup. The Atlanta Hawks enter this game with a record of 19-18, currently 7th in the Eastern Conference. They're riding high after Trae Young's 49-foot buzzer beater sealed a dramatic 124-121 victory over the Utah Jazz, a game where Young delivered 24 points and an impressive 20 assists. Dyson Daniels contributed 16 points while Clint Capella added 18 points and dominated in the paint. The win snapped a 3-game losing streak and showcased the Hawks' balanced offensive attack with 7 players scoring in double figures. Now, on the other hand, the Phoenix Suns come in with a record of 16-19, currently 12th in the Western Conference. They're looking to bounce back after a 104-115 loss to the Charlotte Hornets, despite a valiant effort from Devin Booker, who scored 39 points and dished out 10 assists. Kevin Durant added 26 points, but the team struggled beyond their star duo, with Bradley Beal limited to just 10 points. The loss marked their 5th defeat in 6 games, highlighting issues in depth and consistency, especially on the boards where they were out-rebounded 59-42. The Atlanta Hawks come in as slight favorites with a minus 35-point spread. The Hawks have been strong in the paint, averaging 500 or 55 points per game inside, led by Jalen Johnson's dominance. Meanwhile, the Suns rely heavily on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, but face questions around their bench and defensive intensity. The over-under for this game is set at 232, hinting at a high-scoring clash between two teams looking to outrun their defensive shortcomings. Can Trae Young and the Hawks continue their momentum and handle business on the road, or will Devin Booker and the Suns find a way to protect home court and get back on track? We shall see. And here are the rest of the odds for tomorrow. And that wraps up tonight's preview, so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Before we go, think on this. Gabby Douglas, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, says, "Every champion was once a contender that didn't give up." With that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again here tomorrow on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Billionarian News Channel. My name is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good night.